Namaste everyone. So today we are going to discuss the Indian Forest Service Agriculture Optional Paper 1 analysis. We are having the discussion. So recently that's been on the 30th of November 2024 the exam was held by the Indian Public Service Commission here. So in this cases, right, see, look at the board. So as we said that in the previous classes, right? So in the UPSC we are having totally the two papers we have, the paper 1 and another is the paper 2. So in every paper, right, there are the 8 questions we have. There are the 8 questions we have. Out of the 8 questions, we need to attempt the 5 questions. We need to attempt the 5 questions. Out of the 8 questions, we need to attempt the 5 questions. That means the question number 1 and 5. Question number the 1 and 5 are compulsory in the nature, and remaining 3 questions we need to choose either from the section A or section B. So I'm repeating once again, there are the totally 8 questions will be there in the every paper, either in the paper 1 or paper 2. So out of the 8 questions we need to attempt the 5 questions. Among the 5 questions, the question number 1 and 5 are compulsory or mandatory in the nature, and remaining 3 questions we need to choose either from the section A or section B, right? So here in these cases so in the paper 1, so these are the questions we had in the previously. See, look at the board here. In the section A, so you ask the questions about analyze the how the crop diversification, analyze the how the crop diversification and production are dependent on the nature and culture in the Indian context. It is. So here we are having the 8-mark questions. We are having the 8-mark questions in the IFoS agriculture optionals here. So in the first question, it is all about analyze the how the crop diversification and productions are dependent on the nature. See, they are asking two things: how it is having the dependency on the nature as well as with the culture. It is because at presently, so crop diversification mean in the given area there is a more number of the crops are taken. More number of the crops are taken. When there is a more crop diversification, when there is a the more, see in the given question, these are the elements we need to take here. Right, so these are the criteria within the 2 pages we need to explain, then only you will get the maximum percentage of marks can be possible, right? So in the question number 1, you have to give the brief introduction about the crop diversification. You have to give the brief introduction about the crop diversification, because in the crop diversification there is a more number of the crops can be taken per unit area in the given land, right? There is a one few introductions we need to give. Then apart from that, how the crop diversification and production are dependent on the nature, because when there is a crop diversification, in the given area, right, so it enhances the, it is having the some are the direct benefits, some are the indirect benefits on the nature. It is, right, it enhances the agriculture biodiversity, in the given region, right? It enhances the agriculture biodiversity in the given region. Then apart from that, right, when there is a crop diversification, there is a resilient practices, to the changing climate, the climatic conditions can be possible, then apart from that, right, with the help of the crop diversification, right, there is a more increased productivity per unit of the land can be possible. And when there is a more productivity, income of the local farmers is going to be enhanceable in the case of the crop diversification, right? See, in the cases, so you have to analyze how the crop diversification and production is having the relevance to the nature. Matlab we are having the one is the biodiversity, another is the climate change. When there is a more crop diversification, in that case there is a resilient mechanism can be possible according to the changing in the climatic elements. That is the one thing you need to explain in the second criteria. Third one, we are having the how the crop diversification and production are dependent on the culture, because whatever the production we are taking today from the one region into the another region, the means from the Kashmir to the Kanyakumari, in every region there is some traditional knowledge. According to the traditional knowledge, the crop cultivation practices are taken. That is the one factor. Another is the religious festival. According to the religious festival, in the some region, right, some crops are cultivated according to the festival seasons in general. That is the one. Another one, we're having the dieting system. We're having the dieting system, right? Every region is having the some kind of the dieting system, especially in the South India, right? We're having the Karnataka and some part of the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. They cultivate the finger millet. They cultivate the finger millet. That is the balance, the dieting system. According to the local dieting system, there is a particular crop is going to take place. So, example, ragi in the case of the southern India, right? So, based on the religious festival and based on the religious knowledge. So, that is the one link mechanisms you need to take. How the crop diversification and production are dependent on the culture. Cultural dimensions, matlab, we are having the one is the dieting system, another is the religious activity, another is the traditional knowledge here, right? So, then apart from that, right, you have to explain in brief about the challenges to the crop diversification and production at present year. Then you have to give some government policies. So, here in order to promote the crop diversification and production in the given region, especially some state governments like Haryana government, Telangana government are actively promoting the awareness about the crop diversification system among the farmers. When there is a more crop diversification, there is income of the farmers can be enhanceable. So that is the one positive things we have. Then according to that, you need to show some kind of the positive conclusion in the given question. See, whenever if you want to answer any UPSC question, right, as much as possible, you need to bring the diversified elements in the given 2 pages. Whenever you are having your presentation in the following the alignment, then only you will get the maximum marks can be possible. Are you getting my point, right? So you are having the 2 pages. Within the 2 pages, these are the elements or criteria you need to explain. Then only you will get the good kind of the marks can be possibilities. That is the thing is expecting by the evaluator in the given question, right? It is all about relevance between the crop diversification with respect to the nature, with respect to the culture, but at the same time there is a challenges. According to the challenges, we are having some kind of the government policies, especially by the state as well as with the central government, right? After that, in the second last, we have to give some proper conclusions we need to make here. So these are the criteria we need to explain in the given 2 pages for the given question. Okay, so whenever if you explain this one out of the 8 marks, right, surely we can expect the minimum 4 or 5 marks we can expect here. Minimum 4 or 5 marks we can expect out of the 8 marks it is. That is the one we have. Second question, so if you want, you can write down in the brief this one. And second one, you are having the questions we called as describe the criteria for the essentiality of the plant nutrient which is given by the Arnan in general. See, it is a soil science question, it is, right? So I'm repeating once again. In the second question is saying that describe the criteria for the essentiality of the plant nutrient which is given by the Arnan and Stout, it is, right? In the soil sense, we are having the essential plant nutrient. In the essential plant nutrient, we are having the some criteria which is suggested by the Arnan and Stout criteria. There is given the 4 criteria for define the essentiality of the plant nutrient. Essentiality means those elements are absolutely needed for the plant growth and development. Those elements are absolutely needed for the plant growth and development. Those elements are called as essential plant nutrients, we say. So according to the essentiality, presently we are having the 16 plus 1 essential elements we have. We are having the 16 plus 1 essential the plant nutrients we have. So latest one is the nickel. It is. So latest one is the nickel. In the nickel, we can expect very good number of the questions, right? Bring out about the functions and symptoms of the nickel element in the case of the plant growth and development, it is, right? So Arnan and Stout, they given the 4 criteria to define the essentiality. So within the essentiality category, we are having the 16 plus 1 essential plant nutrients we have. Those elements are absolutely required for the plant growth and development. So in the given second question, right? So we require the criteria we called as see, the second question we require the following the criteria. One is that you need to give brief introduction about the essentiality of the plant nutrient. After the introduction, then you have to come for the quoting all the criteria which is suggested by the Arnan and Stout criteria, we say. So they said that without that element, the plants are unable to complete their growth cycle. Without the particular element, the plants are unable to complete the growth cycle. That is the one criteria. Like that, we are having the 4 criteria which is suggested by the Arnan and Stout here, right? Another one, you have to give the precise note on the 16 plus 1 element, and then available form and their function and symptoms in the brief, in the precise you have to explain. Then you have to go for the way forward. How the essentiality of plant nutrient is having the significant role in the case of the plant growth and development. That is the elements we required in the case of the question number 2. It is. Then the third questions is asked the give the account of the criteria for selecting the component crops, for the intercropping system. See, so you have to remember here, they asked a very good number of the question from the intercropping even in the previous year. So in the intercropping, it means it is the one type of the cropping system. See, even in the GS as well as in optional, we are having the cropping pattern and cropping system. Within the cropping system, there are the various type of the cropping system can be possible. Some are, it can be monocropping, sometime it can be double cropping, sometime it can be intercropping, sometime it can be relay cropping, sometime it can be sequential cropping, sometime it can be multi-storied cropping system, sometime it can be allied cropping, sometime it can be lay cropping. So like that, there are the different type of the cropping system can be possible. The cropping system can represent the cropping pattern of the region. Cropping system can represent the cropping pattern of the region. So even intercropping also is one of the type of the cropping system, is one of the type of the cropping system. In that cases, we are cultivating the more than 2 crops. We are cultivating the more than 2 crops with the definite row proportion. That means there is a proper spacing between the one plant to the another plant in the case of the intercropping with the definite row proportion, right? There is a planting of the both the crops are going to take place in the given piece of the land is called as intercropping. So whenever we are having such kind of the system, then we are having the increased cropping intensity. Increased cropping intensity in the given region can be possible. There is a more cropping intensity in the given farm area can be possible whenever you are having the more than 2 species in the given piece of the farmland. So whenever if you want to cultivate the more than 2 crops in the given piece of the land, then we are having the in these cases we are having the one is the main crop, another is the component crop.